With no signs of the government shutdown ending anytime soon, the Trump administration warns it could begin the unprecedented step of firing federal workers as soon as today.
Oh my God. It's terrible. The food is high, the electric bills and the gas bill, all of these things went up. So I'm already juggling paycheck to paycheck.
Millions of federal workers impacted, including more than 750,000 federal employees now furloughed. Vice President J.D. Vance in the briefing room blamed Democrats and warned mass layoffs could be coming. ABC's Mary Bruce pressed the vice president on why layoffs are necessary, since previous administrations only furloughed workers, a temporary move.
Why does the president want to fire some workers and not just furlough them? Why is this shutdown any different?
Well, first of all, we haven't made any final decisions about what we're going to do with certain workers. What we're saying is that we might have to take extraordinary steps, especially the longer this goes on.
Democrats have demanded that Republicans reverse cuts to Medicaid and extend expiring Obamacare subsidies so that healthcare premiums don't rise for millions of Americans next year.
The point is to say these people need their health care coverage, and the Democrats are willing to fight to protect access to health care. Republicans say they'd rather shut down the government than make sure that Americans get their access to health care. I think they're wrong.
The White House insisting the government needs to reopen before discussing healthcare policy, and now turning up the pressure, targeting projects in Democratic-leaning states, freezing $18 billion in infrastructure funding for New York City, home of both Democratic leaders Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, and blocking $8 billion for energy projects in 16 states that voted Democrat in the last presidential election. More Americans are seeing signs of the shutdown, with some parks and monuments now closed. As for negotiations, the Senate will not be back in session until Friday. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Good morning. This is Morning Sky. I'm your host, Sky. And let's just get right into it. The government shutdowns are beautiful. I am an advocate of government shutdowns. Not only that, they should shut down many alphabet soup agencies like the DEA, the FDA, NOAA, OSHA, and many, many more. We should always be looking forward to reducing the size and scope of government. There should be no conditions saying that there should be health care, that there should be some kind of system of Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. All that has to go. But that's within 20 to 30 years from now. Generation Alpha should not be able to be paying for their grandparents and their great-grandparents' lifestyles. It's unfair. It's altruism. It's the young paying for the old. It's vicious, and it's not part of. It's un-American. It's not a part of the American ideal. It's not a part of the American scheme of things. It's completely anathema to the soul of America. Hold on. I'm just putting in some information that you ought to take heed, to which you should take heed. All right. In that mug. All right, we're good. Okay, we're good now. Yeah, but this is what Dr. Jerome Brooks says. A pox on both houses. The Democrats are wrong and the Republicans are wrong. The Democrats are evil in a lot of ways and Republicans are evil in a lot of ways. They're wrong on both counts because they're not advocating for deregulating, taking away the controls from businesses, eliminating the minimum wage, eliminating licensing laws, encouraging people to find work, get rid of all taxes, forced taxes, Let it be only concerned with volitional taxation. It's not that hard, kids. These are grown-ups. They always ask, where's the adults in the room? There are no adults in the room. They're just old, overgrown adolescent. And they go off of feeling instead of thought. They go off of emotion. They don't use their rational faculties. That's the sad part. They have all the power in the world. This guy, what's his name? Let me see. I got his first name. I've been saying his last name a lot. Let me see. Russell Vought. Russell Vought is the OBM. That is the. He is the. I always forget what that stands for. Just give me a moment. Office of OMB. Excuse me. Office of Management and Budget. Do we need an Office of Management and Budget? Should we shut down his job? Why is it? Who are these? This goes back to COVID-19. Who are the essential workers in the federal government? That's the question. Sir Rick James chimes in, says, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. You wanted the best, you got the best. Sir Skylar Saunders sees he got that right. Oh my God. Has reached the 1,000K threshold. Get your Sky Packs. Let's get it. Get your Sky Packs. Let's get it. Okay, thank you. Salute to you, Rick James. Appreciate it. Yes, I've crossed the threshold. I appreciate it. Let's continue. Let's get to 100,000, 100 million, 100 billion subscribers. I don't know if you can have 100 billion subscribers. People have to make multiple accounts to get to 100 billion subscribers. But anyway, yeah, this is. I love this shutdown. There should be shutdowns all the time. Shutdown, and not even shutdown, eliminations. They're going after the soft stuff, the stuff that's like on the top of the cake instead of the cake. They're going after, parts of education, not the full education. They're going after parts of, the national parks. They're going after, just the simple basic functions. They can't touch Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. Not for people that already put in money for it. Not for people that earned their wage, had it sucked out of their checks, had no choice whether to say, oh, I don't want Social Security. Oh, well, you got to do it. We're making you do it. Or you can't work. You can't do anything. That's disturbing. That's disgusting. But it's in place. And it needs to stop. It's just like drug dealers and prostitutes. I'm all for drug dealers and prostitutes. But if you're a drug dealer and a prostitute and you get caught up in the system, hey, nigga, tough break. If you're a prostitute and you get caught up in the system, sorry, bitch. That's what happens. I agree with what the law is right now. Now, it should be changed. It should be changed. Rick James says the shutdown is causing a lot of aviation failures, sir. There was a crash yesterday, Delta in New York City because of the shutdown. Well, get rid of all government employees in the aviation sector. That should be completely privatized. Why do we say, okay, got this smartphone, wasn't had no involvement with the government, it was completely privatized for the most part. It was mostly privatized. And we don't bat an eye. We don't think twice. Oh yeah, it was private. Yes, sure, it's gonna be great. And they're wonderful. That's because they're not part of the government. Could you imagine if the government made this? Just imagine if the government was behind this. How ugly, how slow, how disturbing and vicious it would be. Just to give you a context, they have the tariffs. The tariffs are putting more money on people, other countries, and Trump wants everything made in America from god awful goddamn reason, and he's saying how that his whole agenda is to make sure that companies are born in America, bred in America, started in America and issue products from America, which would make the iPhone probably skyrocket from a few $1,000s to maybe $2,000 or $3,000, $4,000. That's the scary part. That's the strange, weird, goofy part that I don't even know is possible to overcome. I mean, is it possible? Yes, but it's going to be very difficult because it's so ingrained in us. I was part of the problem. I wasn't part of the solution. Now I'm a part of the solution. Solution is to get rid of government agencies that don't need to exist. The DEA doesn't need to exist. The FDA doesn't need to exist. Get rid of them. Get rid of all of them and do it in a process. Do it in a process. A measured, balanced way of saying, hey, your services are no longer needed. We're gonna, give you maybe a golden or a platinum parachute, and make sure you can get to a next place where you can find another job or create a job. How about that? Well, isn't that interesting? Oh, everybody's like trying to find a job. People are saying, oh, even the lady in the video, the light bill and everything like that, and all. What does it have to do with government? The government's only role is to protect individual rights. That's it. Not to be a nanny, not to be anything other than a gun by the police, the law courts, and the military. That's it. There's no wiggle room. There's no, well, we got to have this. We got to have a safety net. No, bull, BS, complete BS. And you have shutdowns because, we have to show that these various agencies, these various organizations do not need to be in existence anymore. I'm gonna try to find another video. Let's see. It's not showing me. Let me see.
Mr. Vice President.
Sure. We want to keep this government open. It is not good for the American people to have the government shut down for any period of time. We will manage it appropriately, but it is something that can all be avoided. It can all be avoided by accepting a reasonable position, which is what the House has passed and what sits at the Senate desk, which is to continue to fund the government with a short-term continuing resolution. It has never been a viewpoint that $1.5 trillion is a reasonable amount of spending to be included on a short-term CR. This is hostage taking. It is not something that we are going to accept, and we hope that the Democrats come back to the brink, fund this government, and allow us to move forward. Thank you.
Right.
Mr. Vice President.
And that was 3 days ago. 4 days ago, excuse me. 4 days ago. Now, it's not looming anymore. It's already here. And that's a despicable case for the Republicans and the Democrats. They're both corrupt. People have to be tribal. Oh, I'm a Democrat. I'm gonna start with Republican. No. What are you doing? Why are you even a staunch anything? Because they don't even care about you. They care about a vote. They don't care about the voter. They just want the vote. They could care less about the voter. They don't care about, United States of America. They want power grabs and prestige, whatever the hell that means. This seems interesting. Let's hear from the other side.
Good afternoon. Do you view the OMB memo as a threat, an effort to get you guys to back down, or a bluff?
We will not be intimidated by Russ Vought, who's completely and totally out of control. The OMB has been illegally shutting down parts of the government throughout the entire year. And the notion that Democrats are going to be intimidated by this guy, when all he's done is send a message to voters in Virginia and across the country that Republicans are determined to hurt the American people. Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. If the government shuts down, it's because they want the government to shut down. And now the Trump administration has made their intentions clear. They want to continue to fire civil servants who are hard-working American taxpayers, because throughout the year, they've been firing civil servants who are hardworking American taxpayers. We will not be intimidated by these threats coming from the most extreme parts of the Trump administration.
Mr. Leader, I understand that you are not going to be intimidated by the Trump administration, but there are federal workers who don't want to get caught up in a political fight here. What would you say to federal workers that are just worried about losing their jobs?
Donald Trump and the administration have been engaging in mass firings that we deem illegal throughout the year. We will continue to push back against any effort to undermine federal civil service protections that exist in the United States of America. As a negotiating tactic, our response to Russ' vote is simple: get lost.
He said, get lost. He's trying to be a gangster. Get lost. That's wild. That's some wild mess. But this is, very, terrible on both sides. Again, the Republicans are, focused on getting rid of, the social jobs, and the Democrats are wanting to, continue on with the plan of being on the front lines for, irrational causes, and try to take down business, especially. That's the sad part. Yeah, I got that, Bumbo. But let's pay attention to right now. I got that. He says stars in a lawsuit. I know that for a fact. With he's got a banana with teeth or something like that. I can't. What is his name? Point and shoot. Point and shoot. Yeah, point and shoot is goofy. But there's the question whether he was shadow banned, and I will give that answer in just a few moments. If I get $5 in my Cash App account, only if I get $5 in my Cash App, then we can do business. I think that it is a travesty and a dark mar on American life, because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what the hell they're doing. These are grown-ups. These are people in their 60s and 70s, probably almost in their 80s. They have no clue. They're not with it. They don't have an idea of how to run a country, how to save a country. I do. Objectivism. If you use objectivist principles, you will save this country from the hellhole it is becoming. Spiritually, financially, economically, all the different leads. It's becoming that. It's becoming a first world nation with a third world mindset, or a first developed nation with a underdeveloped or undeveloped mindset. It's just what it is on both sides. I'm not voting. I'm saying, oh yeah, the Republicans got it this time. Oh yeah, the Democrats definitely got it. No, they both are completely clueless. They're delulu. They're totally delulu. They have no idea what they're doing. And it's sad, because there are actual people that, think that there should be government funding for, they're doing like the Republicans. They're doing soft stuff. They're trying to they got rid of CPAB, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. They got rid of part of funding for NPR and other stations. They got rid of funding for other things. That should happen, but that should be like on the last part of the list. That should be at the very bottom of the long list. Let me see something real quick. Hold on. So, I think that this government shutdown is great. I think all government shutdowns are wonderful, especially when they eliminate organizations, agencies that need not be around anymore. When they eliminate all the different ways that people are, here, and people wonder why there's homeless people and stuff like that. It's very simple. It's because of freedom. It's because of lack of freedom, actually. Like I said, minimum wage. What does the minimum wage do? You take McDonald's, you take Burger King. McDonald's offers you $2 an hour. Burger King offers you $6 an hour. Who are you going to? Where are you going to work? Well, I like to get paid $2 an hour rather than $6 an hour. Okay, that's fine, but most likely the intelligent one, Burger King, won out on this particular occasion. That's the minimum wage that should be it. The minimum wage should be zero federally. The federal, minimum wage should be at zero, nothing. There should be no federal minimum wage, and there should be no state minimum wage either, or city minimum wage. All minimum wages should be abolished. Also, licensing laws. You want to be a mortician. You want to pump, embalming fluid into a corpse. You need a license for that. You have to go to school. You have to be trained. Guess how much that costs? $2,000, $5,000. You have that. Who has that laying around? Some people don't. Some people don't have that, and they really are dedicated and focused and able to do the job. No DEI, no didn't earn it. They have the issue. They have the problem. They have the solution. Salute to you, Hemp Lord. I see you, sir. Salute. They have the solution. But it takes that money to get to the license when, not saying anybody can do it. There's definitely a skill set that has to be taken. But if somebody is taught and learns how to do something, they got it. What do they need a license for? What do you need a license for to braid hair? What do you need a license for to cut hair? What do you need a license for? Why do you need to be licensed? It's ridiculous. There should be no license for this. Speaking of licenses, the DMV. Did the DMV get shut down? Who shut down the DMV? They're always a lovely challenge. They got a TV show either on now or coming up soon, lampooning the DMV, because everybody knows the story. To be honest though, the last time I went to DMV, it was pretty streamlined. Just to be, completely, not to just bash just to bash, but it was pretty streamlined. I was like, they had a digital counter. I think I waited for maybe 6 minutes. I don't wait for much longer than that. And then I got up to the front. The person was very, professional and dedicated to my needs, and I appreciate it. I got a state ID, and I kept it pushing. It was very good. It was against the prevailing idea and the overall idea of the DMV, and especially in certain places like I would imagine like New York City. The DMV, if there is a DMV in New York City, or on the outskirts, it's probably very packed, very loud. It's got babies crying. You got people yelling at each other, people at the vending machine getting a candy bar, a lot of things going on at one time. And yeah, so the DMV is definitely garnered a poor reputation over the decades because of slow service, um, disengaged personnel. Hey, put your name on sign here. All right, do that. Like they're just lifeless and they're not very accommodating. So did the DMV shut down? I don't know. I don't think the DMV shut down. So if the DMV should be shut down, there should be a private organization, and it can only be monitored by different law enforcement agencies and stuff like that to ensure that people get the best out of their experience with a private DMV. Because that's it. There's only three: military, police, law courts. Three. That's it. And everything else is superfluous and probably evil. The EPA is evil. The DEA is evil. The FDA is evil. We have to get rid of them. Education and schools, government-run schools, is evil. Privatize every single school in this country. Every school in this country. From the pre-K to K-12, from pre-K to K-12 to postdoctorate. They need to all be privatized completely without delay. So I champion this shutdown, and I say it's not going to be wonderful. It's not going to come out as anything glorious. It's not going to come out as anything prosperous because people just don't know what the hell they want. They really don't. They really have a childlike or childish way of showing themselves. That's just a fact. Or maybe it's not a fact. It's probably opinion, but you know what I mean. It's very close to being a fact. So this shutdown should really embolden Americans to say, hey, I mean, even members of my family, they're very selfish. They don't. Oh no, I'm not selfish. No. But my Medicare, my Medicaid, hands off. It's a weird thing. It's very strange. People want to say they're not selfish, but they really are, or they pretend to be. Oh, I'm thinking about the children, and I'm thinking about the poor, and no, you're thinking about yourself. You want your own Social Security, your own Medicare, your own Medicaid, all that, all those bennies, all those paying bennies. You want that, and you deserve it. I'm not saying I'm for selfishness. I'm for that for now, until like I said, the alphas, people born from I think 2010 to 2022 or 23, something like that. It's all on the alphas. They should be the last generation. No, they should be the first generation. Excuse me. Gen Z should be the last generation to engage in paying taxes for Social Security and the safety net, the entitlement state, as they call it. That's just what it is. And this shutdown shows that people are willing to say, you know what, maybe this government has to have some kind of a revolution again. And this happened 6 years ago? There was a government shutdown. Why not again? Why don't we do this again? Have another shutdown. Keep having shutdowns. Having multiple shutdowns. All of them. And it's like, oh, look at me. Oh, you're a hypocrite. You take government funds. You get money from the government. You goddamn right I do. It's the same thing when people get Social Security and Medicaid. I paid into the system. I'm getting what little scraps I put into the system back to me. So You can call me hypocrite all I want. I'm still going to get these tax dollars for these dollars tax free. All right. Well, changing gears. It is Hispanic Heritage Month, also known as Hispanic Heritage Month. Excuse me. And I'm just highlighting, a lot of cartel leaders, drug pushers. Just highlighting them. There's particularly one person, Ociel Cardenas Guillen or Guillen. He was a drug lord for the Mexican cartel Los Zetas and the Gulf cartel. He was a mechanic. He was fixing cars. He actually entered the world of cartels by killing Juan Garcia Abrego's friend and competitor Salvador Gomez. This is from Wikipedia. And the reformers arrested in 1996. As confirmations with rival groups had heated up, OCL Cardenas sought and recruited over 30 deserters from the Grupo Aeromóvil de Fuerzas Especiales to form the cartel's armed wing. Los Zetas served as the hired private mercenary army of the Gulf cartel. He's in prison now, 25 years. And among them are conspiracy to possess cocaine and marijuana with intent to distribute, conspiracy to commit money laundering, threatening to assault and murder federal agents. I can get down with 2 out of 3. You don't threaten or assault, murder federal agents. So, conspiracy to cocaine and marijuana, who cares? And that's just weird too, because in the states that have recreational marijuana, you can't have 400 pounds of marijuana. You can only have a QP. You can have a quarter pound. Like, what difference does it make? Why not? Why can't I have 10,000 pounds of weed? Why can't I have 100,000 keys of cocaine? What is the issue? What's stopping me? What is there? Is it God? God has ordained somebody to say, well, no. Now, if you look into the Word, you can only have a certain amount of marijuana and cocaine on you. This is where we live, kids. This is where we are. He was after a shootout with the Mexican military in 2003. Cardenas was arrested and imprisoned. In 2007, he was extradited to the U.S., and in 2010, he was sentenced to 25 years in prison for the various offenses that I just mentioned. His brother, Cardenas Guillen, worked for the Gulf cartels. Did another brother, Antonio Cardenas Guillen, who was killed by Mexican Marines on 5 November 2010. I say good, as it is, as it stands. Las Marinas, they came in, and swooped in, took them out, kept it pushing. I like it because it's on the books. It's on the books. Just imagine the racket that they have. The racket. They have so much money. They have so much. Who is they? They is the government. The government has so much money. It can send out Las Marinas to dispatch cocaine distributors and drug lords. He was returned. Okay, so this is weird. Okay, OCL Cardenas Guillen was imprisoned at USP Terre Haute and was released on 30 August 2024. His inmate number was 62604-079. In December 2024, he was returned to Mexico and arrested. He is incarcerated in the maximum security Altiplano prison outside Mexico City. I say hell. Come on with it. You know, bring it on. Bring it on. I want more. I want more death and destruction and fighting among cartels, because that's what the government wants. That's what the United States government wants. Legalize it. Legalize all of this. See what happens. They have to go to something else. They have to go to a racket. They have to go to casinos. They have to go to gambling. They have to go to online fraud, whatever the case may be. It's like they're really bad people. There are bad people. Then there's good people that do bad things. And there's bad people that do good things. And there's bad people that do bad things. And good people that do good things, of course. But what is the question of what is good or bad? That's the question. What is moral? What is ethical? I would say that it's not a sin, quote unquote. Now I'm using terminology. It's not a sin to sell, to just manufacture, produce, and distribute crack cocaine on the streets of America. It doesn't bode well for America to continue its policies of anti-drug, the war on drugs, and having thousands of people rounded up, because the Spics started, a business scheme, especially in the late 1960s, early 70s, and it just blossomed from there. It just grew and grew. And I'll repeat it as many times as I want. Cocaine is cocaine again. It is almost in the purest form. You can get the nose candy, you can get the devil's candy, you can get the booger sugar. You can get all of that. And it's people like Guillen that's providing that. And the reason why there are so many cartels and so many different factions that are warring against each other is because it's illegal. Nobody's fighting over, having cartels. There's probably a few squabbles here and there. But nobody's having, cartels over Teslas. Very few. It's a business. It's a multi-billion-dollar business. I think it might even be trillion. I'm not even sure. Somewhere around there. And I know it's multi-billion. But nobody's fighting over Teslas. Nobody's having cartels over cars. It's over this stuff that they deem to be illegal, which is frightening. When you consider all the trail of blood that has been streaked in the streets of America and elsewhere, when you look at the prison system exploding in numbers, populations rising. I don't know about I could be put a hold on that, because I don't know if the populations are rising because of drugs or whatever the case may be. Didn't check that status, but I'm just admitting that. But they are swollen. America has the largest prison population in the world, over 2 million. 2 million people locked up behind bars for whatever reason. Most of them drug cases. That's a fact. Most of them are for drug cases, using or producing. And that's sad. But I agree with it, because it's on the books now. It's on the books now. If you want to sell kilos of cocaine, sure, fine. Go, get away with it. Get away with it. Jay-Z did it. Rick Ross did it. Jadakiss did it. Who else did it? The whole Locks did it, I think. Griselda did it. That's the music group. That's the rap group. 50 Cent almost did it. He got knocked. But that's the reality. And the more we play with things, the more we toy with things. Oh, this amount of sentence for this crime of handling drugs, having this in your possession with intent to distribute and everything like that. It's just like, it's crazy. So for I want to say American, Spic Heritage Month. It's all the Spics. Everybody that speaks Spanish, except for Spaniards. Spanish people are not Hispanic. They're Spanish. They speak Spanish and they are Spanish. They come from a bloodline of Spanish people. People speaking Nuyorican and Spanglish are not Spanish. They are American trash. they don't have the proper diction and the correct cultural references that they have in Spain. But they say Hispanic Heritage Month. That's just anybody that speaks Spanish. That's basically what that means. It could include Spaniards, but it's mainly about Americans, Hispanic people, Central America, and South America. And the largest country in South America doesn't even speak Spanish. It's Brazil. They speak Portuguese. Look at that. There is no God, but look at God. This Guion guy. He on June 1st, 2001, the U.S. Department of the Treasury sanctioned Cardenas under the Kingpin Act for his involvement in drug trafficking along with 11 other international criminals. The act prohibited U.S. citizens and companies from conducting any kind of business activity with him and virtually froze all his assets in the United States. He probably made a good $2 to $50 million, something like that. Nothing crazy, nothing billions or crazy. He probably made a good little amount. He gave orders of movements of drugs in Mexico. And we have to, I always say my drugs. I have pharmaceutical drugs, but they're drugs nonetheless. When you say, what does FDA stand for? Where do you go to get medicine? They don't call it the medicine store. They call it the drug store. They don't call it the FMA, Food and Medicine Administration. They call or agent. I always mess up. Is it administration or agency? I can look it up real quick. It's administration. Okay. Yeah, the administration. It's drugs. It's all drugs. Everything. It alters the chemical balance in your head, in your brain. That's a drug. Anything that can alter the chemical functioning of your brain, that's a drug. But yeah. So for Spic Heritage Month, it's all about the Spics. It's all about discovering new ways of seeing them, of seeing what they're worth. I know they have all the culture. They have the marigolds, and coming up there's the Day of the Dead, and they have sweet skulls, and they have pretty dresses on the women, and they have the men wear sharp tuxedos sometimes and different formal wear. I get that, and they have a strong amount of literature. They got Gabriel Garcia Marquez. They got Pablo Neruda. They got Isabel Allende. I get that. That's cool, and that's great. Celebrate that, but you also have to look at the picture from where most people really don't want to try. Oh, do you have to talk about that? Do you have to bring that up? Yes, I have to. I have to talk about how these drug runners are, influencing these niggers in these rap songs, making it sound cool. The people that don't make it sound cool are clips. And I think Mobb Deep was in a sense that way too. But I know for example, Clips, he's Miles says on one record, got it for cheap. If ever had millions, never would you push blow. Like nobody says, yeah, man, I want to sell crack. They didn't even want to sell crack. This was like, Hell yeah, we got this. We live in a lower middle income family. We're not, we have both parents in the house. Salute to them because both parents have recently passed away. Condolences to them. But they didn't have to. They just wanted to buy Honda Civics for pretty broads. They just wanted to have some money in their pocket. They can buy new sneakers and new beepers and put in the work. Get a few. They maybe made $50,000 to $100,000, maybe. I don't know. I can't. I never heard in a song how much they made, but they probably made some good amount of money. They made game show money, like they won a game show. Official J Dub, salute to everyone supporting the channel. Thank you, Official J Dub. Salute you. Appreciate that, J Dub. Now all you got to do is tell 12,000 other people to do the same thing. Then I'll have something going. I got just over 1,000 subscribers. I need more watch hours. I need you to watch and share. That is the idea. Sharing. I'm going to try to look. Let me see if I can find this guy's video. Probably not, but I'm going to test it out anyway. I can't remember where it was. Where is it? Okay, here we go. OCL. Let me see. OCL. Okay. Looking for it right now. This doesn't look promising, kids. Doesn't look promising. I see everybody with content that's not fair use. All this is not fair use. What is this? I don't even know. Is this? Hold on. Is National Geographic fair use? I'll find out.
And everything, and nice big house to be in a small town in Laredo. They call it the armpit of Texas. Takes you all the way to Dallas, and it even goes all the way up north in the U.S.
Now, this is an area where there was the biggest number of trucks crossing the whole border. It was a very important route. The Gulf cartel was shifting marijuana, cocaine, and heroin through Texas to across the United States. The Gulf cartel was onto a good thing. It was about to get a whole lot better with the North American Free Trade Agreement.
NAFTA will tear down trade barriers between our three nations. It will create the world's largest trade zone. Today, we have the chance to do what our parents did before us. We have the opportunity to remake the world.
Nuevo Laredo is more important than almost any other area in Mexico. And that's why it's a battleground. It's a crown jewel for drug trafficking. Everybody wants that.
Si andas de hocicón, se te mocha la lengua. Si andas de dedo, se te mochan los dedos. Si metes la cabeza donde no te llaman, se te mocha la cabeza. Soy de los Zetas. El proceso más que nada fue que nos llegó el patrón, nos ofreció mejor paga.
OCL was a genius at being able to read people and manipulate them. He was brilliant at influencing people to do things that they shouldn't be doing.
Carros, casas, todo mejor estable que en la milicia no nos daban. Se opta por cambiarse.
In the special forces, they had radio code with the Z letter. So they would have like, Zeta dos pendiente, it'd be like, Z2, I'm on alert. They quickly became called the Zetas or the Zs after that radio code.
OCL saw in them a discipline that your regular trafficker did not have, and that was a militarized discipline. A respect for chain of command, loyalty, the willing to attack the hill when told, regardless of the outcome. We saw that the Zetas were becoming a threat. There was definitely a foreboding of things to come as the Zetas began to grow and become stronger, and they were learning the drug trade from the Gulf Cartel.
OCL is definitely in the crosshairs of the FBI and DEA. He is public enemy number one. The arrest is like a scene out of Afghanistan, Iraq. The Mexican military, I believe, may have lost 1 or 2 soldiers during the course of that gun battle. OCL survived. He was apprehended, but it was quite the shootout.
I'll see if I get a strike or a warning on the copyright. I don't know if National Geographic is fair use or not. But I wanted to show you the guy who actually was Guillen, OCL Guillen, and the shootout that happened that led to his capture. Do we have to have more shootouts? Do we have to have more beheadings and cut off of fingers and legs and arms and chainsaws? And it's like we're stuck on stupid. We really are stuck on stupid. We don't. Oh, prohibition. You say alcohol is legal, and there's not going to be any more Al Capones or Bugsy Siegels and Machine Gun Kellys and all these people. Oh, we're really going to have that? Okay, great. Let's say prohibition is not good. Let's get rid of prohibition. So they're saying, prohibition is not good. And it isn't. Prohibition was evil. Just like we are in a prohibition now. We're in prohibition 2.0. This is the drug cartels and everything like that are fed from our inability to say that drugs are legal. And let the United States say that, because if we're not the one of, not the largest consumer of narcotics. We're one of the largest consumers of narcotics. So I say let it flow. Let the drugs flow. Instead, if you don't let the drugs flow, the blood will continue to flow. That's a fact. On both sides. These aren't, harmonious angels on the side with the drug dealers. I'm not trying to say that they're, perfect little specimens of ethical greatness. What I'm saying is that they don't have to be, and the guy was in a face mask, and I don't know if they garbled his voice, but he had a mask over his face and clothes all over, so you can't tell who he was. Why? Why is that? That's what I'm saying. Like, nobody asked these. I'm asking these goddamn questions because I haven't seen anybody ask these questions. All you see is people say, yup, okay, great, that's nice. Okay, next thing. Like, I want to know why he was in a mask and why they usually have shadows and modulated voices. I want to know. Why is that? Why are the cartels still the cartels? Why are they still so powerful and so mighty against the forces of the United States and Mexican governments and other governments around the world? And of course, we always see 700 tons. I don't know about 700 tons, maybe, but like at least 20 tons or, 20 to 30 tons of cocaine washed up on the shore of Miami Beach. And then they, the cops take it in and they have, cheese smiles, have Colgate smiles and pointing at the, at the bundles of cocaine and, they get their raises and everything. That's the thing too. It's like they're riding off of the high, not literally, but the high of money, of getting advances and promotions and bonuses. So you can't really blame them because that's what they're trying to do, and they're cops. That's I'm a cop supporter. I'd rather see a cop gun down a drug dealer or bring him into custody. But he shouldn't be doing that. That's the sad part. They're literally risking their lives. These policemen and these FBI agents and DEA agents, even though I'm against the DEA, I still recognize it as an organization that still exists. And I'm in favor of all the agents that are doing something, even though they shouldn't be doing something. It's the same exact thing, just like Elliot Ness and all his untouchables. There should be no untouchables. There should be no Elliot Ness. But since there wasn't Elliot Ness, you had to support and root for the good guys in this context. I know you're going to be like, hey, sell out to the bad guy, But it really is a disgusting place. So for Hispanic Heritage Month, a.k.a. SPIC American Month, Heritage Month. I was going to put American. I don't know why. SPIC Heritage Month. You have to remember the workings of Osiel Gardinas Guillen. I don't know how to pronounce it. I was glad I could see that video. That showed the truth. That showed the reality of all this. So make it your business to fight for rights. The right to produce as much narcotics and scheduled substances as possible. The right to use as many narcotics and scheduled drugs as possible. That should be our main goal. And this SPIC Heritage Month, we should highlight these figures, not for their good deeds, of course, but the fact that they exist and the fact that it's true. The fact that songs are made about them and telenovelas are made about them. But hey, I would like to thank everybody that came through. Rick James, Chemo Savvy, Bumba, and Hemp Lord, and Official J-Dub. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you sometime tomorrow. Take care.